Ah, Rome, the eternal city. Well, not quite yet. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving in with another mod spotlight video, this time taking a look at the Total War Bannerlord mod, which is set in the year 335 BC and of course looks to overhaul the entirety of the campaign. The mod itself has just gone into an early testing period and hopefully will be released later on in the year. The mod completely revamps, of course, the units of the world, the kingdoms, adding in tons of new armors and other glorious things to mess around with. The mod also does use Lemmy's Europe map, which is an open source map of Europe set in roughly around about the Middle Ages, so of course they've had to adapt that to the era that they're creating this mod for. But Lemmy's Europe map does have a ton of amazing features in it, one of them being naval travel, so of course naval travel is going to be a thing in this mod, which is of course really exciting, being able to move around the seven seas, launching invasions from the Carthaginian coastline into Roman lands, and taking island fortresses like Syracuse and other stuff like that is going to be extremely fun to do. So as of right now, the map itself does stretch all the way into the British Isles, goes up into Scandinavia. However, the additions off into the east haven't quite been finalized. This map is constantly being updated and improved, and I believe the next update, the Byzantine update, is going to add in the rest of the east in Turkey and the rest of Greece as well, which will be great for a mod like this. You can basically tell where all the major cities are going and where all the castles are going, so that's going to be the next addition to this, and hopefully will be in for when this mod does release its first open testing build. So then we can of course have the rest of the Macedonians and a few more Greek city-states, as well as like Pontus and any other factions out here like Armenia and Persia having a few more bits of territory. The kingdoms that are currently in the mod, of course we do have the Romans. However, they aren't the dominant power of Italy quite yet. They have to deal with the Etruscans to the north of them, as well as the Samnites to the south, which actually hold a pretty large amount of territory down here. Over off into the east, we do have the Macedonians. As we go further north, tons of tribes all split up into different unique factions. And then of course, as we go into Africa, we do have the Carthaginians, who are met with a bunch of African tribes, as well as the Egyptians off into the east. The mod itself does host a whole wealth of armors and weaponry for people to use in this. They are using open source Armory, a ton of assets that they've created themselves, as well as working in cooperation with mods like Eagle Rising and Burning Empires, which is always awesome to see mod teams come together and work in harmony. So one thing this mod is doing, which I really do dig, and that is to do with recruitment. If I go into a city and I go to recruit, you'll be able to find these more elite soldiers here. These are going to be the urban soldiers, generally the more richer troops, which will have the better equipment. So for example, right here we have Triarii, which go down the tiers, and generally they don't transform from like a Triarii peasant to an elite Triarii in full plate armor. They'll stick around that level, they'll just be getting better at the job that they are at. And then obviously you also get equites as well, so this is classed as the urban recruitment pool. However, if I go to an Italian city, for example, then you'll get the rural recruitment pool, and these troops will generally be less quality, but they'll be cheaper, they'll be easier to go ahead and recruit, and you can see they go up into the Hastati with nothing that crazy. You also get kind of like lowly tier slingers and units, and I think this is just a really interesting way of doing it. The cities themselves provide you with better soldiers, however they are fewer and far between. There's not as many cities as they are, say for example, villages, which again represents the the way the population is spread out. So you're going to be able to muster an army quite quickly in through villages, but we're not going to be as good as waiting into a city. And again, this is going to be important to actually unlock the unit recruitment slots as well in a city by doing quests and improving relations with other factions. I think overall that's going to be a really exciting feature of the mod, and again they plan on doing that for the entirety of the map. I believe as of right now we just have the parts of Italy that have that, so the Etruscans I believe also have that. Yeah, so you can see some of the Hellenic units up here as well, and some of the beautiful looking Hellenic units. Again, look at keep in mind that cape will be on his back in battle. Sometimes the unit editor doesn't work, and again the same for the Samnites down in the south, and there's actually already a big old Roman battle going on in there. So again, you can take a look down here having some of the Roman units. Now we can also take a quick look at some of the units in the mod. As I said, these are a part and parcel of some other mod teams they've collaborated with, along with their own assets. So there's a real nice diversity here. If we go down the route, you can obviously see the basic Hastati for the Romans. We've got some really cool looking African militia spearmen. We've got some Arabasi barbarian tribes, again looking very nice. Something I've also noticed as we continue to go down the line, the Arabasi cavalry, is that some of the, or a lot of the barbarians are actually really tall when it comes to units. Again, right here we've got some of the Scythian armor from the Eagle Rising mob, which looks beautiful as always. Again, some more Spanish warriors here. We got some Greeks as well, so this is some light Greek skirmisher infantry, some of the Greek hoplites as well, beautiful looking shields covering most of the body, some Italian exiles as well, so some light units with the scutum, nothing too crazy. I really dig this unit as well, one of the more elite, I guess, citizen hoplites, look really good. And again, the units do just go on and on. There's some Lustrian veterans as well, and it's going to really be determined on like exactly how these are utilized in battle. Their stats, I think, are going to play a big part, and I hope the mod team do take the time to actually dive in and, you know, kind of take the time to dive in and really kind of look at, you know, what units should excel at certain things, kind of really try and, you know, make the units feel different, so that if I'm using like a northern kind of I guess Massalian Greek hoplite, it's going to feel a bit different from using the Macedonians, and then later, you know, when we add in Athens and the rest of the Greek factions, that's going to feel a lot nicer. The mod, of course, also plans on having unique buildings and battle maps as well later on down the line, but as of right now, we just don't have the time and assets to really do something like that. So if you do want to go ahead and create some assets for this mod team, of course, I'll leave a link to their ModDB page down below in the description, as well as their Discord. Another thing that the mod team, of course, do want to do is also change all the settlement icons as well to make them a bit more, I guess, on theme rather than kind of these vanilla Bannerlord ones, which again make complete sense. And of course, they are planning on changing all the heroes as well. I think as of right now, the heroes do look quite generic Bannerlord. Yeah, they are just the generic Bannerlord lords, and that's going to be their next thing after they've done all the unit trees. But again, keep in mind that there are a lot of factions in the game, lots of different kind of cultures that are really trying to immerse us in. And it's going to be really exciting to see as the game does play what factions rise to the top, because there's no real major empires besides like Egypt and maybe kind of Carthage. But again, a lot of the Carthaginian factions are lowly, like kind of lowly individual states as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see kind of empires rise to power. And I imagine stuff like an annex mod, so you can actually kind of completely remove factions, is going to be very important for something like this. And like even diplomacy, being able to have alliances and client states, again, is going to be super cool, and hopefully something they do add in later on. So that is just going to be a quick little look at the Total War Bannerlord mod. Be sure to go ahead and drop a like and a comment down below if you enjoyed the video. Be sure to let me know if you want to see more from this mod. The mod is very functional at the moment, even though there is still lots and lots to do. They're making amazing progress, and be sure, of course, to check out their Discord, link down below in the description, if you want to keep up to date with this mod. And I'll see you guys in the next one.